This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn, who was sort of off screen for a second. You know, we we take a hiatus for 2 weeks, and then you forget everything you're supposed to do, Mr.
Everything.
Seaburn. Oh, I don't know.
I
I
have
think
to
I think
relearn.
John should lead the show today.
Oh no! Well, be careful what you wish for, Karen, and all of you at
Hey, wait a
home.
minute. I think that's a left-handed compliment, but not.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
it's me, Paul Seaburn. We're back from our 3 week, I don't know, two show hiatus.
Yep.
At What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. Remember our motto: real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's what we do here. We're here once a week for you to join us, get away from the real news, get away from the bad news, all the stuff that's going on. No politics, no business, no bad news, no nothing, just fun stuff. Weird, of course, from around the world, around the universe. I'm here with Karen Hale, our producer and media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, which is our platform. Click on that, find us. You find all the places to download us. We're also on YouTube. For those of you who can see, on the screen is also John Dinello.
hi,
Hey, John, our What in the World of sportscaster and color commentator for the rest of the show. He's all excited today because if you're watching on YouTube, we have pictures of Bigfoot. So, I think I spoiled the surprise already.
Uh-oh.
That's all I'm going to say about that. So every week we're here. You can see the pictures that we post on, if you join us on YouTube or look at us later on YouTube. You can also find me on Facebook. And of course, I am the editor and head writer at mysteriousuniverse.org, where some of these stories come from. We like to have more fun with them than I'm able to do at Mysterious Universe. So if you read it there, good place to see some pictures. But as always, stick with us for the fun stuff.
I just want you to know we have a special guest from Vermont on.
Special guest from Vermont.
His name is Paul Reed.
Oh, Paul Reed. Hi, Paul. Old buddy of mine from the ventriloquist days and puppet show. My puppet show with Taylor Mason. Taylor's Attic. There we go. Slowly but surely, the brain cells after that 3 week.
Anyway,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh, so everything is taken. All the problems are gone. For last week, we would have been here, but there was this loud pounding on my roof. I thought maybe the Men in Black or aliens coming to warn me not to talk about UFOs anymore. I was getting a new roof, so that's all done. Everything high and dry, and let's get right to it. Enough of this stuff. What are we talking about today? Let's see. I've got, Karen, this is for you. I have a lady who claims she's married to Michael Jackson's ghost. So, we've done stories.
Couldn't have done any better.
Ooh. Oh boy, we're off on a different foot today. So we'll be talking about her. We've got Bigfoot. We've got Bigfoot from Texas, Bigfoot from Oklahoma, a Bigfoot birthday party, John, from Oklahoma.
Okay.
I do have a UFO story about billionaires. We've got a couple of stories on Big Macs, if you're hungry. Mermaids in Zimbabwe. We may get to that. Ouija board safety tips. If you're a Ouija board fan, I've got some safety tips for you on using them. And as always, unusual world records. I've got a number of world records, more odd news, trivia, strange sports. John, as always, has a very weird sport for us this week. And of course, Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. So let's get right to it with some world records. While we were gone, we missed the Olympics were going on. So we didn't have a chance to talk about the Olympic. Who cares? You watched the Olympics. We've got better world records for you. So let's get right to it. In fact, I have a picture of this lady that I will put up in 1 second. Her name is Julie McCann. She's from Canada. Julie McCann set the unofficial Guinness World Record, I think a week or so ago, when she completed a 100-meter run in 22.9 seconds. Now that sounds like a slow pace, but let me show you exactly how she did it. Come on here, Julie, there she is. So Julie McCain ran 100 meters on all fours.
What?
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
and you can, for those of you on YouTube, you can see she is on a track, a regulation track. She has her feet and her hands, her gloved hands, on the ground, and she is running on the track. Did 100 meters in 22.9 seconds. She said she could have gone faster, but she saw a dime on the track and she stopped to pick it up. But this is unbelievable. I don't have a video of her, but I have a video of her inspiration. She says that she was inspired after hearing the male version of this world record. And this is a guy, I'm going to show you a video of him in action.
Oh,
so you see what
wow.
it actually looks like to run on all fours. That is Kenchi Ito of Tokyo, who ran in, to get ready for this, John, 100 meters on all fours in 15 seconds.
that's incredible.
I can't run 100 meters in 15 seconds. And if you note, I mean, I kept watching this thinking, there's a fart joke in here somewhere. But we're not going to go there. So Julie, the female version, let's go back to her. I don't think I want to watch this guy. So she says she's been running on all fours since she was 3 years old. And she actually can walk normally. She just likes running on all fours. She said she's had 3 children. And after the birth of her 3rd child, she thought, this would give me the motivation to get back in shape again. So that's how she got back in shape after having 3 kids. She ran on all fours. Now, I'm not sure if that helped her give birth or if it helped her get pregnant, but
Either or.
Yeah, either one. That's right. So anyways, I thought that is probably one of the stranger. Unfortunately, John, I don't think there's a league of all 4.
I'll research that, Paul. I'll take a look to see if there is a federation.
Get back to us on that. Okay, so
always interesting.
that's right. Okay, so now here's another world record. This guy's name is Donald Gorski. Donald Gorski, I'm not sure where he lives, but it doesn't matter. You don't want to meet him. He is he calls himself the king of Big Macs. He holds the Guinness World Record for the most Big Macs eaten in his lifetime. Take a guess, Karen, how many Big Macs Donald Gorski has eaten? I'll give you a hint. Since 1972. So we're talking about over 30 years here. What do you think?
So how many he's eaten in over 30 years?
Yes, over 30 years. Since
40 years.
40 years. Thank you, John, for that mathematical update.
Let's say 400,000.
400,000.
Oh, sure.
I'm not even going to try doing the math on that.
Okay.
He has eaten 32,340 Big Macs.
Wow.
As of the time of the story, which was 2 weeks ago. And he's still eating them. He set the original Guinness record for most Big Macs eaten in a lifetime 22 years ago. And he's still eating them. He still eats 2 a day. That's his average. Do
we have a picture of him?
Oh, of course we do. But
okay.
He has a grease stain in his driveway, but he doesn't own a car. So you can figure out.
Okay.
Oh boy.
There we go. There he is right there. Now he's an average sized guy, is he not?
Yeah.
Normal looking guy. One of the pictures is him eating one of his favorite meals, a Big Mac. The other one is him standing in front of the famous McDonald's sign. How does he know he's eaten 32,340 Big Macs? Track of every single burger he's ever eaten in his life. Not only does he write down in a notebook how many Big Macs he had on that day, he saves the box and the receipt, and he has them filed. Oh, you say you don't believe it? Let me
I
show
don't believe it. Oh my God. No.
He has a, this is, what we have here is a picture of an entire wall of bags of Big Mac containers. This is historical right here.
Paul, let me ask
the-
you a question though, real quick. Does he eat any other kind of burger besides a Big Mac?
No, all he eats are Big Macs.
Okay.
Good question, though. Thanks for asking.
Sure.
Yeah, so organized by year. So I mean,
Wow.
this guy again, he could beat Mayor McCheese in a political race. He's McDonald. But so I know you're surprised that he's a very normal sized guy. Every Big Mac is 563 calories per sandwich. So he eats almost 1,200 calories
Yeah.
worth of Big Mac every day. The way he stays slim, that's all he eats. Believe it or not, he says he eats 2 burgers a day. I guess one for lunch, one for dinner. He skips the French fries, which I think is un-American, but nonetheless, he skips the French fries. And according to his doctor, who was a witness to this, he has a great blood sugar level, exceptionally good cholesterol, and here's why. He also walks 6 miles a day. Now, my first thought was, well, of course he's got time to walk 6 miles a day. He must not have a girlfriend. Who's going to date somebody who smells constantly like a Big Mac? Guess what? Not only is he married, he has kids and grandkids.
Oh no.
Yeah, his wife, Mary, when they were dating, would sometimes bring him a Big Mac to surprise him. Now, that's what they said. How somebody who eats 2 Big Macs a day, how can he be surprised by yet another Big Mac?
Wow.
I don't get that part. But anyways, I thought you'd enjoy that. There's a world record for you. That
Yeah,
now
we're not going to share this with my husband. No.
no,
No.
nor thank you for pointing that out, Karen, because that was a great segue into our next story. See, it pays to come to rehearsal.
Yes, it does.
One person who well, besides your husband, who won't appreciate this story is Knezhnia Ovechkinova, obviously a Russian name. She is from Omsk, Russia, and she would not like this story at all. Why? Knezhnia is an Orthodox Christian, and she is suing McDonald's in Russia. Oh, I bet you didn't know that they had a McDonald's in Russia, did you?
I didn't.
Look at that. Here we have a picture of a McDonald's in Russia
Oh,
with the McDonald's
wow.
sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
In I don't read Russian, but that's what it said in the caption.
Well, you can tell by the golden arches.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that part I got.
Good thinking, Paul.
So, thank you, John. So, anyways, I knew there was a reason why I asked you to be on the show. So she's suing McDonald's because she claims that in 2019, her religion, and John and I can relate to this, during Lent, the period before Easter, you fast. That's part of preparing yourself for Easter. So this is a very strict religion, and she must, for 40 days and 40 nights, she had to give up all meat, all meat products of any kind. She claims she's driving down the street and sees a billboard for Big Macs, and was so overcome during Lent by the billboard, by the ad, that she headed for the nearest McDonald's and broke her fast.
What happens when you do that?
It's a sin. If you
Oh.
die before you get to say your confession, you go to hell. And,
Oh,
and
no.
in hell, you'll be sitting in between Hitler and Mussolini. And
Oh,
they're going to look
oh.
over at you and say, hey, what are you in for?
Trying to take over the world. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I ate a Big Mac during Lent. Cheeseburger, actually. So fortunately, she got to church in time and went to confession, and now she's suing McDonald's for the grand total of $14 in damages. I guess $14 goes a long way in Russia, obviously.
I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and the priest who heard her confession, he's also suing McDonald because he was laughing so hard he threw his back out when he heard it.
Oh, Lord.
So there's your study of there's our two Big Mac stories for the week. Now back to world records. This one comes from New York. So this guy, we've done stories about people who eat very fast and drink fast. This guy set a Guinness World Record for drinking a 2-liter bottle of sugar-free soda. 2-liter bottle, that's the big one, in 18.4 seconds. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
For 2 liters of fizzy stuff. There, he's in there somewhere. There he is,
Oh
right
my
there.
God.
Yeah, he's a professional eater. That's I'm not gonna. Yeah, maybe you can tell by his body size. I don't know. I don't have a video of him. I wish I did, of him drinking that. So 18 and a half, just about 18 and a half seconds it took him to drink 2 liters of a sugar-free bubbly soda.
Ooh.
Which is the reason why I researched the next item. The record for the world's longest belch is 1 minute 13 seconds. This is I always mention, John and I went to college together. This is what happens when kids have to go do college online instead of being part of the dorm life or campus life. Because
Sure.
you do stuff like this. but this guy needs to belch. I mean, I I don't want to stick a pin in this guy. Soda's going to be shooting out from somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, was there a record before he did this that was not as quick? I mean, was there?
Yeah, it was yeah, it was more than 18 and a half seconds.
Okay, all right. I'm wondering what it was. Well,
I'll tell you what, there might be a league.
Federation could be out there. That's right.
He competes at that Coney Island hot dog contest that we always talk about.
Yashimoto.
Yeah, exactly. So, maybe we could do the sport of professional fast drinking some week. I'll make a note of that. Yeah. So, speaking of food and people who eat a lot, up on the International Space Station, they just got a cargo shipment in of apples, tomatoes, kiwi, and enough pizza for all of the 7 astronauts on board, which is a big shipment of pizza. So now they're waiting for the next cargo ship to come up because they all need relaxed fit spacesuits. How do you eat pizza in space? I don't know. So going back to the lady who committed the sin of breaking her fast by eating a burger during Lent, John. This is not a record, but you'll enjoy this one. Police in New York are on the lookout for this. I'll put a picture up there. That is a picture of a 4.5-foot Nile monitor lizard, which escaped from a home while the people were moving. Now, they're all terrified by this. I'm saying big deal. When we were in grade school, we had to deal with 4.5-foot hall monitor nuns. Far scarier. In fact, I have a picture of one of those right here. There.
Oh, no.
What would you rather mess with, a 4.5-foot lizard or a 4.5-foot tall nun with a ruler?
She has the Board of Education in her hand. That's what
the Board of Good one, John. A wooden ruler, Board of Education. I'm stealing that one. So anyway, and a lot of them were little. A lot of them were tiny little nuns that packed a wallop, didn't they?
That's very true. Yeah.
For those of us who felt the wallop, I'm gonna have to look that word up, wallop. I wonder where that came from. Anyways, okay. So now, Karen, this is one for you.
Okay.
Man in England attempted to rob a bank, and he failed when the teller could not read the note that he handed her, saying, "Give me all your money." And here's the note right here. We'll take a look at it here. There's the note. Now, take a look at that. I think I can make out most of the
Just
letters.
hand over the 10s and 20s. Think about the customers.
Think about the customer. Yeah. So
Yeah.
But yet maybe it was a trick. Maybe the teller was a quick thinker and thought, well, if I tell him I can't read it, he'll go away. And as a matter of fact, that's what happened. But they caught him anyways because of his poor handwriting. So my first thought was, if this was Snidely Whiplash, now you remember Snidely Whiplash. I've got a picture for those
Yes.
who don't, from the Dudley Do-Right cartoon. If this was Snidely Whiplash and somebody did that to him, said, we can't read your handwriting, he would say, cursive, foiled again. And then
Okay, Paul, we'll take that. We'll take that.
that was from my favorite, my all-time favorite cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon, John, that came from was Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yes.
Yeah, the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. Now, the voice, and I'm not going to ask you this one because this was really obscure. The voice of Snidely Whiplash came from a famous voice actor, Hans Conried.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Karen remembers Hans Conried.
Yes, I do.
There's
Whoa.
a photo, and that's not him. There you go. There's a photo of Hans Conried. John or Karen, do you remember what show he played a famous uncle on?
Yes, Danny Thomas show. Uncle Tanoose.
Uncle Tanoose, that's right.
Very good, Karen.
Uncle Tanoose. By the way, Danny Thomas is Lebanese, and allegedly Uncle Tanoose is Lebanese. In real life, Hans Conried is not Lebanese. I think he's half German, half something else. Obviously, he played. There was a whole list of cartoons that he did voices for. Very, very well known. Plus, he was on a lot of shows.
Yeah.
So, anyways, another picture popped up there. This one's for John here. I'm going to put it up here. This is a picture of Honus Wagner. Now, just last week, the 1909 baseball card featuring Honus Wagner sold for a world record price of $6.6 million. One person paid $6.6 million for a single baseball card. Broke the record. Most expensive sport card of all time. This card is so valuable, the buyer, who remained nameless, asked that it be delivered in an armored shoebox. So John will get that one. We all kept our cards in shoeboxes. Now,
that's right.
I'm going to say that John probably still has his shoebox filled with baseball cards. Am I correct, John?
You know, Paul, I have to tell you no, and I have to tell you that my mom, when she was cleaning out the house years ago, decided to throw my cards and my brother's cards away.
Oh.
This is before.
No.
This is before they became. Card collecting was really popular and profitable. So
yeah.
we would always tell my mom that that's one thing that you did, Mom, that wasn't good.
The only one, by the way. The only thing.
But yeah, that's a true story.
That's funny. That's a common story. That didn't happen to me. I don't know what happened to mine. They disappeared. Too bad. I'm sure there were a couple in there that were worth money.
Yeah.
Now, what you may wonder, listeners out there, why this card is so valuable. It turns out that although it was in a standard print run, they printed as many as all the other baseball players of the time. Back in those days, instead of them being made by the Topps company with a piece of bubble gum inside, they were on the back of a pack of cigarettes or cigars. And Honus Wagner thought, that's terrible. Little kids, my fans, want my card, but they have to buy tobacco products in order to get my picture. And he stopped it before they completed the run of shipping out his card. So I think there were 27 of them that still exist today. Yeah. And this guy was a famous baseball player, John, as you know. He's considered to be one of, if not the best shortstop to ever play the game. He won 7 batting titles in the National League, which is second only to Ty Cobb, the American League. But this is what kills me. His name on there is Honus. Honus is not his real name. Why would you pick that up? His real name is Johannes, which isn't so bad. But Johannes, the short version of that for his mom was Hans. So she used to call him Hans, which is what his friends called him, except apparently they didn't speak English the way his mom did. So it ended up being Honus. And he wasn't the best player. This is the best part. He wasn't the best player in the family. His older brother, Albert Wagner, was better than him and got drafted first, got signed first, and convinced the club to hire his little brother.
Oh,
Albert's nickname was Butts.
Oh,
So I don't know. What would you rather be called, John? Honus or Butts?
I think Honus. Hey,
Yeah.
Honus.
quick note here. Did you notice that the spelling of Pittsburgh is lacking an H?
Oh, that's the old style.
oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm wondering if his uniform, it's spelled B-U-R-G, and it's I can't see the borders kind of covers
But it's
if
cut
there
up.
is
No,
H there.
I'm gonna guess that that the H is not in there. Oh, the only way to know is to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame and see it, because I'm sure they have it.
Oh, let's take a road trip. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
Or just,
definitely have a road trip.
or just buy the card from the person who just purchased it.
Yeah, there you go. Right. $6.7 million will answer this question.
Really? Interesting. No, very
All
good.
right, so I'm gonna cut out the pictures here for a little while and get back to showing us on the screen. There we go. Okay, so when we've been talking about food, in fact, we were talking about food in space. Now these two 3 billionaires have been in space recently, or involved with space. Jeff Bezos from Amazon, Richard Branson from Virgin Airlines, and Elon Musk, who's been sending stuff back and forth to the space station. Why are there billionaires in space, you may ask? Because
Why?
Because they can afford the ships. So some people are saying, well, if we're sending billionaires into space, maybe other planets are sending their billionaires into space, and that's who's in the UFOs that are coming to visit us. Billionaires from the planet Alpha Centauri or something like that. And it turns out this is a serious question that people are analyzing all over the place. And just to show you, I read a response, and one of the reasons that NASA gives for billionaires in space is because the food is so expensive. Yeah, food.
Makes no sense.
To feed one astronaut 1 day in space, it costs $2,000 per person. $2,000. And that's just for food, excuse me, just for food and beverages. There's there's another charge. I'm gonna
Take a
talk
drink of
amongst
water.
yourself
Yeah.
for a second here.
Have some food.
I have my $2,000 glass of water here. So it costs $2,000 for food, up mass, and trash disposal not included. So my first thought was, what the heck is up mass? Up mass cost between $88,000 and $164,000 per day per astronaut. That's the cost of buying the food, staging it, figuring out how to preserve it, and all that other stuff, and then figuring out how the astronauts, excuse me, dispose of the waste.
Wow.
$88,000. That's right. So I mean, that's a lot of money. That's the reason why Bezos only spent like 7 minutes in space. Even he can't afford peanuts
Yeah.
in space. So then this website put Space Daily, put it in layman's terms. Stuff that we have on a plane. How much would it cost to take into space with us? Like if we wanted to go to Mars, single bottle, 16 ounces of water would cost from $9,000 to $43,000, depending on where you were going. $43,000 for a bottle of water to take along with you into space. Yeah, I know. I can't go to Costco and just buy a case and
Wow.
make my own. You know, they don't like that. To put it in more in perspective for John here, let's say you John wanted to take an espresso machine with you when you went to space because you like your shot every morning. Okay.
Sure.
Italian astronaut did this. He had a specially made espresso machine that he took with him to the International Space Station. $1.9 million.
No way.
And somehow he convinced the Italian Space Agency to pay it for him, because obviously he's not going to pay it himself. He
Wow.
blew all his money on baseball cards or something. I don't know.
He's a baseball fan, right?
Yeah. So, we should wait for on Star Trek fans remember the replicator. They didn't have to take food. They just pressed the button like on a microwave and boom, they got plates, they got food, they got glasses of booze, they got all kind of stuff. We're nowhere near that yet. The best we can do is a 3D printer, which turns matter into matter. But if you're too far from Earth, they can't shoot the stuff to you. So you still got to take the basics up there for the machine to form into a plastic steak or whatever it is they make. So, that's why billionaires are coming to visit us. I'm not saying it's billionaires, but it's billionaires. That's
Is the reason.
You
Think of
use
that.
somebody else's meme. Yeah. Okay, Karen. So now we have talked many times about women falling in love with ghosts, women dating ghosts, women have sexual relations with ghosts, women divorcing ghosts, and on and on. But this one tops it all. This lady's name is Kathleen Roberts. She lives in England. For some reason, the British women like to date ghosts. I'm not going to even try to explain that. So she does a podcast, Karen.
Okay.
It's called The Ghost Host. And on her podcast, she interviews ghosts, which she channels through herself.
Of course
So-
she does.
So basically, the podcast is her talking to herself as one of the ghosts. What ghost does she talk to besides Michael Jackson, obviously? So she says she has talked on her podcast, and I looked them up: Marilyn Monroe, Prince, Anna Nicole Smith, who hasn't been around for a while, excuse me, Kurt Cobain, and Michael, the King of Pop Jackson, of course. And don't let me forget I'm going to bring up Marilyn Monroe again. So what everybody wants to know is, well, what's Michael like? Here's what she says. He talks to me a lot. Well, of course, he's in your head. She says, but he's shy. It's not what she expected. He lives through her and treats her as his wife, and she treats him as her husband. So she says, because he can't get out of her body, that's where he does his eating. So somehow she feeds him food and he eats inside of her body. He loves cookies, she says, and he curses a lot more than she expected Michael Jackson to curse. He doesn't like to be kissed, which I would like to see a video of her attempting to kiss herself in order to kiss Michael Jackson. But not only does he not like it, he punishes her when she tries to kiss him by forcing visions of dead people or spiders into her head. Now, I know she's afraid of spiders. She's already channeling dead people. I don't know how that scares her, but apparently it does. Then she also claims that he sings and dances inside of her. And she made a recording of it and sent it to the Jackson family so that they could see that Michael is communicating through her.
Okay. Well, I have a great recommendation.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to reach out to her and ask her to come on the show.
Oh, by all means, do.
Yeah.
So she when she channels him, she dances and she sings. Now, the worst part, Karen, is that because he's inside of her, he accompanies her everywhere, which means he's with her when she goes to the bathroom.
Oh, no.
But she says, yeah, it's not so bad because she sees ghosts all over the place and they communicate with her all the time. So she runs into ghosts in the bathroom all the time. That would bother me a little bit. But even stranger, she claims that not only does she talk to all these celebrity ghosts, she is actually the reincarnation of Marilyn Monroe. Now that's my cue to show you a picture of what she looks like. There she is. She looks like Honus Wagner. Wait, I think I have a picture of her right here. And there she is. Yes.
Oh
The
my.
lovely Kathleen Roberts. I don't need to put up a picture of Michael Jackson. You know what he looks like. So she claims that she is the reincarnation of Marilyn Monroe, which I'm sure was an awkward podcast to be interviewing the person that you're in a reincarnation of.
I would think so.
Yeah. So anyway, definitely strange. We've talked about, again, people who, I remember one story we talked about the woman who claimed she was married to a 300-year-old pirate's ghost.
Yep.
The inspiration for Colonel Jack's, whatever his name was, Johnny Depp's character on Pirates of the Caribbean. Jack Sprat. That wasn't it.
Ain't no fat.
Yeah. Okay, so I promised John Bigfoot pictures. I want to do those before we get into sports here. So my first story on Bigfoot comes. I apologize for leaving this picture up here, but I don't want to have to go back and forth. Family in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. We've talked about Broken Bow before. It's a Bigfoot hotbed. Family in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, was having a birthday party for their 6-year-old daughter. And because there's so many Bigfoot there, they decided to invite Bigfoot as their special entertainment for the party. So here's a picture of Bigfoot waiting outside to come into the party.
Hey, you can see him.
You can see this Bigfoot. And by the way, Karen, it's a she. It's a female Bigfoot.
I'm sorry.
You see the present. She's got some helium balloons there. So this is a friendly Bigfoot, right? So what do you think happened when Bigfoot came to the door and knocked, and the little girl opened the door to see that her party guest was Bigfoot? Whoops. There she goes. She ran screaming away.
Yeah, I would run too.
Not only did she run, every kid at the party ran scared away. But obviously, for those of you who can't see it, and those of you who can, this is a woman dressed as Bigfoot. She's a professional Bigfoot impersonator, and believe it or not, that's a job. Wow. And she comes in, she entertains the little kid, and probably does adult shows too. I don't know if I want to see what she does for adults. So she wants to get paid. So she invites the kids back in very nicely and sits down with them and talks to them. And eventually they came around, and the little girl had a good time, and all of her friends, which is a good idea because it's legal to hunt Bigfoot in Oklahoma. So you could just imagine if all these parents found out that their kids were terrified by Bigfoot, they'd be gunning for this cinnamon.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so now here's another one from Texas. This comes from El Paso County, Texas. And I've never heard of this monster before, but it's called the Horizon City Monster. A DJ down there was doing a stage show, an outside stage show with other people on the stage, and she hears a howl. And it's one of those mournful, like something in pain kind of howl. At about 7 o'clock in the evening, she heard it. The other people on stage with her heard it. She calls it a screaming, howling sound in front of them in this canyon where they were at. And it happened multiple times. Believe it or not, John, no one thought to take their camera out and record, or their phone out to record the sound. But the DJ was intrepid enough to go looking to see if there might be a monster in this canyon that they heard. This is the McKelligan Canyon in El Paso. Place for rock climbers like it. It's really a cool place to go. So anyways, she found that there is a Bigfoot kind of monster that lives in El Paso, in this city, Horizon City, the suburb that she was in. And there's been multiple sightings of it. So I have a drawing, an accurate drawing of the Horizon City monster. Now, the lady who drew this is the real thing, John. William Martinez, in 2001, monster. And there was a hairy figure crouched over a dead coyote. And haven't we all been there? And eventually it walked away and disappeared into the ground. And she was terrified. She ran away, went back later, and there were no footprints. There was no dead coyote. She doesn't know what happened. And of course, this was before people had cell phones with good cameras. So no picture of that.
She said it disappeared into the ground?
Disappeared into the ground, yeah. Now, the theory is that there's underground caves there, and it may have been near a cave, but she couldn't find a cave either. So they don't know if it found a cave that she couldn't see, or if it's one of those dimensional shifts that we've heard about. Now, the previous sighting was in 1975, reported by the El Paso Times, which also had a picture of the Bigfoot. Now, there you go. There's the Bigfoot there. They described this monster, the Horizon City monster, between 7 and 8 feet tall, broad shoulders, and elongated head. There you go, John. That's exactly what you see right there.
Okay.
Comes around at night, drinks water from Lake El Paso. So if you're getting your water from Lake El Paso, you might want to get bottled water.
Instead,
and it not only does it howl, but it also hums. I don't know, probably one of those El Paso songs. I
left my heart in old El Paso.
El Paso. That's the one I was trying to think of, Karen. Everybody at home, hum along.
Yeah.
With the Bigfoot. So she and it smells. It has a noxious odor. All those things sound like a Bigfoot. So that's why people say the Horizon City monster is actually one of the Texas Bigfoot, which normally don't live in El Paso, which is the far west, as far west as you can get in Texas. They normally live where I used to live, around Houston, in the piney woods, which are thick, and they run up to Oklahoma so they can go visit their friends in Oklahoma that haven't been shot or are going to birthday parties.
Yeah.
So this is this is closer to the Rio Grande, to Big Bend National Park. So there are a few Bigfoot allegedly in Bigfoot National Park. So there you go. There's our Bigfoot photos for the week. I know, I'm sorry. They're drawings. I misled everyone. They're drawings. But so what? John's going to make it up to you, people at home listening in on the podcast, because he has another weird sport for us this week.
Karen, it is. And people listening at home, it is a weird sport. So
I'll take that down for a second here. Go ahead, John. Let's go right into it.
So our sport this week is underwater hockey.
Let's pause here while Karen gets that baffled look on her face.
Underwater hockey. Okay.
Now, this sport prompts a lot of questions when players of the sport try to explain it to those who have never seen the game played.
Oh, I could do that. Hang on a second, John. I have a picture. There you go. Underwater hockey.
Very good.
Okay. Whoa.
That's not it. That's not it, Karen.
Oh.
Okay.
That's a goofy hockey player in a pool. Oh, tell us about underwater hockey, John. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you, folks. Sure. So most people are familiar with both the ice and field versions of hockey, but now imagine it under 13 feet of water, because that's how it's played. It's played in 13 feet of water. The origin of the sport goes back to England and originally was known as octopush. Okay, it was invented in Great Britain in 1954 by Alan Blake to help train divers and British commandos. Now, you may ask, why was it an octopush? The original rules called for teams of 8 players, hence octo, a bat reminiscent of the shuffleboard stick called a pusher, and hence the push, and an uncoated lead puck called a squid, and a goal known at first as a cuddle, but soon thereafter was called a gully.
Oh.
Wow. So today,
so there's a reason for everything.
Yes, there is. And today the game is played with 6 players on each team. Opponents dash for a weighted puck and move it along the bottom of the pool toward an open-ended goal that is 3 meters or approximately 9 feet wide.
There we go. I've got a picture here of a couple of, we just took a quick look at some pictures here on YouTube of this is by the way, men and women compete in
Yes.
underwater hockey. We saw some good ladies diving in. Apparently, what you dive in at the beginning, John, to get the
It's the mad dash, right?
yeah. And
there are-
here's two guys with their little sticks. They're
Yes, they
pushers.
are. They're pushers.
The pusher man. Yeah, that was
That song by
I forget
Chris
who
Smith,
did-
yeah, back in the
they're
70s.
there. They're going for the puck. Pink
Right.
puck, by the way.
But-
How I guess that helps them see it.
Right. Now, there are no goalies. Each side uses teamwork and different formations to defend and score. It is a non-contact sport in which pulling or grabbing your opponent is not permitted.
Or their swimsuits.
Well,
Yeah.
now, two referees officiate play and watch for fouls and goals. If a player commits a foul, he is relegated to a penalty box, just as it would be in ice hockey.
Is the penalty box underwater too?
It is. Yes, it is. The playing field is an Olympic-sized swimming pool with a depth of 6 to 13 feet.
Yeah, this is. We have a picture of the two entire teams swimming towards the puck. This looks even. I was baffled by water polo in the Olympics. That looked like the most exhausting sport I could ever
Oh,
see.
it has to be. Yes.
Well, I don't know, John. This underwater hockey doesn't look
It would be more challenging.
strenuous. Yeah.
So a little bit more on the equipment. The puck weighs 1.5 kilograms and it's made of a lead alloy coated with plastic. Players wear those large fins and a snorkel mask while carrying their pusher stick in a thickly gloved hand. So there's gloved hands that these folks have, with the pusher stick. The pusher stick dimensions must fit within an 11-inch by 4-inch box.
So it's a tiny little stick.
They're tiny little sticks.
Yeah.
Matches begin with a mad dash to the bottom of the pool where the puck is sitting in the center of the playing field. Each game has two 15-minute halves with a short halftime. The teams begin the match in either end of the pool. When the opening buzzer signals the mad dash, a goal is scored when a team manages to hit the puck into their opponent's goal using their stick. No other instrument or body part can be used in the game, and any goals deemed to come off of a player's body will result in a foul in their opponent's favor. The game is won when the allotted time is surpassed, and the team with the most goals is the winner. If a game is a tie after the allotted time, then an extra 15-minute period is played until a winner is found.
Now, you would think they're cheating using snorkeling gear and flippers, but this looks really strenuous.
Oh, it's very,
Especially,
very-
water polo. At least you're throwing the ball back and forth above the
Right.
surface. This is all underwater.
that's right. And clearly strong swimmers are favorite participants, but the ability to, as you mentioned, to hold one's breath for long periods of time and stay underwater is equally important.
Sure, yeah.
Now,
So nobody plays this, right, John?
no, in fact, they do. And here it is. It's recognized by the International Olympic Committee, the IOC.
Holy
And
smoke!
No.
Yeah,
The World Underwater Federation, which is referred to as CMAS. In the Americas, the game first came to Canada in 1962. And if you're curious as to how widespread it is, today, more than 40 countries field underwater hockey teams with an estimated 15,000 participants worldwide.
Wow.
New Zealand, Great Britain, France, Turkey, Australia, South Africa, and Colombia are the leading underwater hockey nations.
So we're not even listed in the top 10.
The United States is not there. No,
We need to work on this.
yeah, we do.
No,
We-
and by we I mean you, John. Because I'm not doing this.
Thanks for setting me up. But so if you're trying to decide between ice hockey and underwater hockey, remember this: everyone in underwater hockey still has all of their teeth.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah.
Good.
Bobby Clark, by the way. That's Bobby
Yeah.
Clark from the Philadelphia Flyers.
I knew you'd know who that was. It's a non-underwater hockey player with very few teeth left.
Oh boy.
They do wear protection nowadays, so I think the
Well,
tooth-
they're required to wear helmets for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Everyone has to wear a helmet.
but I think they wear mouth guards too,
Well,
don't they?
Right.
Well, what a underwater hockey. Who would believe it? Sanctioned by the International Olympic Committee. I would have preferred to watch underwater hockey to rhythmic gymnastics. I like to pick them.
Oh, you don't like those ribbons?
No, I don't. Or even
Let me ask you this question, Paul. Let me ask you about skateboarding. What about, and nothing against people that skateboard. I mean, it's obviously to me, it's a recreational sport. It's not a competitive sport.
yeah, I
I'm
think
kind of surprised that it's been in the Olympics for some time now. But
yeah.
yeah, just,
I kind of agree. There's more athleticism to that than rhythmic gymnastics. I just don't see. Even synchronized swimming has more athletic ability, I would think, than rhythmic gymnastics.
Sure.
But to each his own. They're trying to appeal to
Yeah.
a different demographic than we are in.
Absolutely.
People of our generation.
Yeah, that's right. We still have wrestling and boxing, and
Yes, we
and
do.
sweating sports, run dashes and by the way, while we're on the subject of the Olympics, and then we want to get to Bluff the co-host, the women's pole vaulter gold medalist was from actually she's from Northeast Ohio, from Olmsted Falls. So congratulations to her.
I forget her name. Right. Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a real manly and womanly sport, not like rhythmic gymnastic. I would, if somebody from Northeast Ohio got a gold medal, I guess I'd say I'd mention their name, but
Have to give them props, right?
that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you win Bluff the co-host, of course we mention your name, because the only two players are Karen and John.
We have a 50% chance there, Karen, of making the limelight there, right? So,
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and I know I give out the gold medal every week to the winner, which are very valuable.
Yeah, they are very valuable. You're
Anyway.
hitting our budget.
Yeah, there you go. So, Bluff the co-host, for those of you who haven't been here before, and for the fans of the show, I read 3 stories very similar to the ones we've been talking about all afternoon, except with the difference that some of them may be a bluff. They're not real news, sometimes strange. They may be a bluff, and there could be one of them, could be all 3 of them. We just don't know. It's up to Karen and John to decide. They will vote on here. You are more than welcome to play at home, wager, whatever suits your fancy. So, John and Karen, hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to our first story. Number 1, airlines are trying to get passengers back in the air, and the crews are trying to make the flights as pleasant as possible for the masked passengers. So one small airline has started to take requests from the passengers. Its pilots get on the speaker right before the flight takes off and read off a list of places they'll be flying near, letting the passengers vote on which ones they'd most like to see out of the windows. To be fair, the pilots divide the sites evenly between the right and the left sides of the plane. Near the end of the flight attendants go around and take a vote on which sites the passengers like seeing the best, and those will be added to future flight plans. It's not the same as free drinks, but at least there's no extra charge for the pilot flyover request. All right, Karen. So a small airline that takes requests from the passengers, what sites the pilot will fly over on the way to their destination.
See, I thought that the flight patterns are controlled by the pilot doesn't choose his path. He's
Well, you've
gonna be
never been on
given
a
it by
plane
the-
where they avoid a storm? They get off the flight path and go around a storm?
Okay, you're ruining this for me. I'm trying to think logically.
Just pointing that out to
This
you.
is a bluff. Okay.
Karen says it's a bluff. Okay, John, how about you?
I'm going to say it's true. And I think the sites are hopefully within people being able to see. And to Karen's point, the planes are not going off their flight plan, so they're going way out of, their destination or their path. So I'm going to say it's true, though. I think that a small island could pull that off.
Okay. The small actually does take votes from the passengers on what sites of interest to fly over. Karen says it's a bluff. Let's check with the judges here, and the judges say, congratulations, Karen, that was a bluff.
No, there it is.
I'll tell you what, though, for as many times as I've flown, those planes go all over the place. I know they
Really? Okay.
they have a path, but anyway,
See, I wouldn't know. So
it'd be a fun thing to do. Okay. All right. So let's get right. So let's see. The score so far. Karen 1, John nothing.
Okay.
All right, John, ready to come back. Story number 2. While some people claim they can tell, most grocery shoppers have no idea how to tell if a melon is ripe. That's why an upscale grocery chain in an exclusive neighborhood of San Francisco has cut a deal with a local health clinic to purchase a used X-ray machine that customers can use to scan the insides of cantaloupes, honeydews, watermelons, muskmelons, and those exotic ones you only find in upscale markets and health food stores. Since most customers aren't trained to use X-ray machines, a volunteer from the clinic has trained store employees on what to look for in a ripe melon's X-ray. Everything and everyone are well protected, so no one is exposed to radiation, and employees pass out free samples to show how reliable the machine is for picking out ripe melons, which of course cost twice as much and more as the ones at Walmart. So we'll start with John. I know John probably is excellent at picking out ripe melons, but what do you think, John? A store in San Francisco with an X-ray machine to show if a melon's ripe.
I think it's a bluff, Paul, because I think it's just too contrived. It's just too involved. The X-ray machine there, and I'm not sure what the size is, and then being able to train employees so they can use it or whatever. I'm going to say it's a bluff.
Would you use it if it was?
If it was easy to manipulate, yeah, I would. But I'm not sure what's used. The X-ray
John's
machine.
motto: if it's easy to manipulate, I'll do it.
I'll do it. That's right. If it's complicated,
Okay.
I definitely won't. That's
All right. So John says that the X-ray melon machine is a bluff. Karen, how about you?
I agree that it's a bluff because I think it's going to be too dangerous to use.
Too dangerous. They cover them with lead. Lead jackets that they got from the dentist. Both of you are right. It's a bluff. I don't even need to check with
Thank
the
you.
judge.
My faith in humanity is restored. That's very good.
That's right. I was at the grocery store when that one came to me. I said, "Oh man, I don't know how to pick out melons. If only I had an X-ray machine."
I have a new approach when I try to pick up like cantaloupes, for example. My family likes cantaloupes, right? So
yeah.
Now, the first one that I look at, okay, is the one that I select, because before ones,
What?
right?
That's as good a system as I've heard of. Okay, all right.
So far
So,
it's working okay, so I'm staying with it.
all right, wait. Do you do that with steaks or some other kinds of?
No, I mean, only like watermelon
Only cantaloupe.
inside. I have cantaloupe. That's you just can't
Pasta. Let's move on. Okay.
spaghetti squash. My favorite
Yeah,
spaghetti squash.
so let's check the scoreboard here. 2-1, Karen ahead of John. But as we all know, points are doubled in round number 3. So John could come roaring back and take over the lead. So let's get right to it with story number 3. Police in a small village in England are baffled by a crime wave that has local citizens demanding answers. Someone or a gang of someone's is pouring baked beans into their mail slots on their doors and then running away before they can be caught. Even worse, the gang is roaming parking lots looking for cars with open windows and leaving a pile of baked beans on the seats and the dashboards. The citizens are demanding action, not some half-baked excuses that the police have better things to do. Meanwhile, the poor cops have nothing to go on since the bean dumpers have their faces covered. They're asking that if anyone knows who is doing this, please call the police and spill the beans.
Oh.
Okay, so Karen and John, crime wave in a small town in England. where criminals are pouring baked beans into the mail slots on the doors. We all remember those. So what do you say, John? Real or bluff?
I'm going to say it's real. I can see strange people doing that.
Strange. Could you see strange people being grateful for the beans and eating them?
No, terrible. That would be awful. That would be awful.
Okay. All right. So John says that's a real story. Karen, how about you?
Well, we keep saying that things are really strange in England. And therefore, I have to say this has to be a bluff because I don't think people would be that strange.
Oh, I thought you were referring back to our ghost
No.
story. Okay. Things are really strange in England. How strange? Let's see. So Karen says it's a bluff. John says it's real. Let's check with the judges. Sorry, Karen, that's a real story.
John
John
won.
walks into the lead. Whoa.
Oh,
Baked beans. Oh, that's
Wow.
terrible.
That is
Can you imagine?
terrible thing
Oh,
to do.
there were pictures of cars with beans running down the windows and on the steering wheel, and people opening their doors and a pile of beans when they walked in or walked out.
Well, you know what the saying is, folks. It takes all kinds.
Oh, very good.
And John, that's a half-baked saying, but we'll take it because we've reached the end of What in the World for another week.
Okay.
I want to thank John Donalo, our What in the World of Sports guy and color commentator. Thanks always, John. Good to see you. See you next week. Karen
Good.
Hale, our media mogul, co-producer, and all around great person. Thank you, everybody. Please go to newclevelandradio.net, where our platform, where Karen has, and she was explaining some to me before we went on the air, a bunch of new podcasts that really sound interesting, helpful, none as funny as What in the World, but
No.
close, but more helpful for things that are really bothering you than Ghost. So anyway.
But before we close, first
Oh,
of
yeah.
all, I have to congratulate Paul because you have over 1,000 downloads of your audio version of this show.
Wow.
And 3 weeks ago, we had over 600 listeners to that last show.
Wow.
So I
Well,
want
don't thank me. Let's thank our listeners, our
Well-
podcast viewers and listeners. But thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. And thank you to everybody who's tuning in. That's why we do this. We don't do it. It may sound like we're entertaining ourselves at times, but we really do it because we thought there was a demand and an interest for strange stories like this. And you're proving that to us right there. So we appreciate that 110%. And we hope that you join us again next week for another edition of What in the World. So thanks again to everybody. And thank you for bringing that up, Karen.
Absolutely. Everybody have a